Welcome to the MMO Show, the show all about MMOs, with your host, Brent Copeland. Download from iTunes, or watch the video at youtube.com/Brent Copeland. And now, your host, Brent Copeland.
Howdy folks, and welcome to the MMO Show. It's day one. So we got, it's going to be a short show, just kind of telling you about the show and what's going on and what it's going to be like in the future. First off, we are basically going to talk about what I'm doing in MMOs. I can't talk about all the MMOs just because there's so many. I might talk about some news on anything big going on with MMOs. But we'll definitely be talking about what I'm playing, and hopefully some of the listeners will be playing alongside me in these MMOs. Even better, though, I'm going to be making my own MMO. I've got an Indiegogo. Matter of fact, we can put up this. So I'll go ahead and talk about the Indiegogo and give you an update about how that's going on as I talk about what it is. So I'm doing the Indiegogo for help me make an MMO, and I basically have the money already to get a license for the engine that I'm going to start off with, called the Hero Engine. It's $99 for a one-person license, but I want to see about getting a little bit more to get a few more people in on the license. So if I get some other developers who want to help out with me, also the graphics and stuff, I'm going to need to use a 3D editor thing like Maya or 3D Max, I guess is the other one. They're both highly expensive, so I'm looking for people who already have access to it, and I have a few people that are interested already. But as you know, basically I'm going to try to take a year to take this engine and get a test copy of what I want in an MMO, and it's going to be a lot different from the MMOs that you currently see out there. The question mark, exclamation point, grindy MMO that basically the fact that WoW got so big means that almost every MMO now has to do what they've done or they can't get investors. So I want to get a test out there, something to show people that says, hey, here's some other ideas that are actually fun and meaningful and are what an MMO should be like. So if you'd like to get involved, you can look in the description for the Indiegogo link. I believe it's just itg.me/at/Brent Copeland, and that should take you there. There's different levels, of course, you can buy into for the first year, and things like, actually being a character in the MMO and things like that. But for the most part, I'm waiting just I'll wait till the end of the Indiegogo before I actually purchase the software, and that'll give us a year to see what we can do with it. And I'll keep updating during the show each week and let you know what I've done. I'll be putting videos up on my channel once we're to that stage, and be able to talk about it and see what we want to see in MMOs. So thank you very much for all the current supporters on the Indiegogo, and same thing is for my Patreon. Those folks are getting in on the Indiegogo as well, so I appreciate it. Thank you all, and that's about it for the Indiegogo today. Currently, MMOs, I always want to be playing at least one MMO, just because it's kind of like, it's the type of game. Ever since I started playing EverQuest, it's my favorite game. The problem is now that MMOs are so spread out that one of the biggest things that you get with MMOs are playing with friends, and that's one of the biggest things I miss, is being able to play with friends, because MMOs going now, it's like you don't know who's going to be playing what, because there's so many, and even the newer MMOs, like which server are you going to get on, and who's going to level up the fastest to get to a level where they can actually raid, and who's going to go through the content. Well, I want to solve basically all those issues, so when you come play this MMO, you can play with your friend from day one, and we'll be getting into exactly how I plan to get into a lot of that stuff. But for the current MMOs that I'm playing, basically, I'm pretty much dropping WildStar. I've been playing WildStar, and it was a good MMO for what it was, but really it was just a WoW clone in space-ish. And they did a few new things different that I liked more than WoW, but in the end, it's just another WoW game, so what's the point? And honestly, there weren't enough of my friends over there playing it, so again, you either have to find a guild of more people you're going to play with, or move on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving on. I just got to remember to cancel it. Holy crap. So the other one I'm playing, it's a free-to-play, and I like to kind of keep at least one free-to-play going because it doesn't matter if you play it or not. So you can just pick it up as you need, and that's Arcade. I'm on the Thead server or something like that. I'm playing an elf over there. I believe one of my friends, Spencer, is also playing on that server, and a few listeners to the morning coffee show. So feel free to come and join and look for me on there. And it'll be fun. My name on there, if you want to add me, is Anibola. So look for me there. Other MMOs I'm playing, really, WoW comes out in November, the expansion, and I've got, if you could look up above my desk right now, you can see I have every collector is a different edition of the World of Warcraft, and I'm torn. Like, I haven't played WoW for over a year. I mean, I've saved, $150, $160 just out of subscriptions alone. So I'm torn between getting an edition at all, let alone the collector's edition. And I guess I just have a few more weeks to decide about that. Probably end up getting something just to get on, because I do have a few friends that still play. And I know every expansion they go back and play, so at least I'd have a couple weeks of seeing them and playing with them. So I'll probably do that and do some videos. I almost hate myself for it, but it's that WoW thing, and it will help reinforce me to really create something that will drive people to. Now, one of the things I've talked about in the Indiegogo about the MMO that I want to make is the fact that I don't want any levels. Levels to me is something that's kind of left over from MUDs and Dungeons and Dragons, and there was always like a need to measure your progression, and it was done with levels, where I don't know if that's needed in a game, in an MMO game. Like right now, they make you go through 50 levels. Most games, MMOs, right? You get the game in 50 levels. And the problem I have with that is that's cutting up what you and anyone else can do. You need to be usually within 4 levels of each other to do anything together. So already, unless you've all rushed to the 50th level or close enough to it, then you can't play with your friends. Or you've got to hold back and stay wherever your friends are in this chain of levels. And it just, for an online game to hop in and play with your friends, it's such a barrier. It's the biggest barrier, I think, in online games. So I want to fix that. And now you could do it like some games do, kind of like an up-leveling or a de-leveling to keep people within the same level range. But I want to see what we can do with no levels at all. And I know there's people out there who want to experience storyline, and there's people out there who just want to go straight to fighting in dungeons and ultimately into bigger raids. And I think there's a way to achieve that both without having to say, okay, well, you follow this storyline and it's going to level you up to level 50, and you can either read the quest text or not. Like, I don't want to have a single quest that you don't want to read the text to. Like, if that's what you're doing, then just move on. Go play in the dungeons. Go do PvP. Go do something else. But don't waste your time even talking to these people, because it's just a waste, right? I don't want to make you do something you don't want to do. And that's the other thing. Like, quests need to be epic. If you want people to go, kill a rat, well, that's a task. That's not a quest. So there will definitely be quests in the game. There will be tasks in the game, but it's not going to be driving the whole game like it is in modern day MMOs, where you hop off the hero cart freshly into the new village, and you have all these question marks that lead you around to the world. It's not going to happen. Maybe a tutorial area or something like that, but we'll get to that. But so I don't know. Right now I'm talking more about levels in this episode. Let me know what you think about levels, and kind of here's what I'm planning to do instead of levels. So it also gauges like your abilities and spells, when you get spells, when you get different things, and whatnot. What I would like to see is, if you want to delve through the storyline, or if you want to, basically your end goal is to get to where you're doing these epic quests, going to kill these super bosses, these what would be raids in current MMOs. And so there's multiple ways to get to that level, if that's what you are. If you are a hero and you want to go through like a hero storyline, so you can either go through kind of the storyline where you're learning about the world and doing quests to go save this village, or save this or save that, the princess in the tower, or what have you. Quests, nice big quests. As you do that, you will gain equipment. I think this will be a more equipment-based game. So to fight these and to get in these raids, you're going to need the right equipment, and you can either get that by going through the storyline part, or by going dungeon hopping, or PvP, or even making, going through and crafting the recipes. I think there's a line of where you could hand someone items and be like, here, your friend comes and plays the first day, and you've been playing for a year. You're all geared up. And you're like, man, you need to come on this dungeon. It's an awesome dungeon. Here's some equipment. Maybe you can loan them equipment, or just give it to them if they're good friends of yours, stuff like that. And then they can come fight with you and learn skills and things like that. But they can do it day one instead of having to wait till they progress through the storyline. Same thing if you're a merchant and you've going through kind of like this merchant where you're learning how to make stuff, and you make all these weapons and armor and items and trinkets and things. Well, you can give these to your other character in the storyline of the world. This is your a relative, maybe something like that, or friend, or what have you. And it's basically, you have one class where you enjoy trying to run the auction house, right? Or making a bunch of cool stuff. Well, we don't want you to be like the crafter and the hero. Just doesn't really fit in the storyline, because the hero is going to be off being a hero, and they're going to do task or buy equipment and items from other people. They're not going to go weave a basket, right? So that's kind of the thought there, is like you would just have two different characters. One would be your crafter and one would be your adventurer. Or you could just be a crafter if that's what you enjoy. And there can be a whole kind of getting ranks within your not your guild as in your like friends guild, but the guild is like the merchants guild or the artisans guild, something like that, where you work up and you actually get new abilities and new access to different things that you wouldn't have if you're a hero, right? So definitely different ways to progress and different quests. You know, as a merchant, maybe you're a tradesman. I don't know if that's a word, but maybe you want to go trade stuff from one town to another. Well, you might have to hire a teamster cart, right, to run your goods across to the other place, and you might want to go with them to travel, and so you can hire them to defend you, and that's how you would deal with like bandits and stuff on the road, instead of a hero who's just going to dispatch them himself, right? Or maybe you make a deal with a hero and say, hey, you help us get across to, you know, this city, and I will give you that sword you wanted. Something like that. So I think we can do this without levels. Throw me your ideas. Throw me some questions on like, because I think this is a good way to kind of to work through some of this is go, hey, well, how are you going to do this without levels? How are you going to do that? So ask me some questions in the comments. You can email them to me. The MMO Show. Actually, I need to set up a email. I don't want to give you my personal email right now, but I'll have an email where you can send stuff. We'll say the mmshow@gmail.com, and we'll see if that's even available. If not, I'll put something in the description or maybe edit it out. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week for the next MMO show. Bye-bye.